The Aboriginal Australians' genomes had never been adequately studied, until now. Malaspina's 2016 has thoroughly researched the Aboriginal Australians' genomes by studying genetics and using DNA sequencing and comparing those genomes to other similar populations' genomes, such as the Papuans. Both of these populations, according to evolution, are now accepted as having derived from and evolved in the regions of Europe, East Asia, New Guinea, and Australia. The following is the untold story of the Aboriginal Australians and their origin, the discovery that led to yet a bigger one. The Aboriginal Australians have always been considered unique, but research tells us that Aborigines may have derived from another human population long ago. But from where? After the migration out of Africa, some human populations spread and evolved in different locations, one result being the Eurasian population. The Aboriginal Australians and Papuans, similar to the Australian natives, are now known to have derived from this population and continued to spread across the world into their locations today. This figure illustrates the areas of the world that the ancestors of Aboriginal Australians and Papuans colonized. Aboriginal Australians from different regions of Australia didn't have the same percentage of each ancestor, but they did have some percentage of every ancestor. Although some disagree with the European admixture, researchers agree that Aboriginal Australians' genome suggests Asian heritages. Others strongly agree that New Guineans and Aboriginal Australians are closely related as well. As you saw in the last figure, Aboriginal Australians derive from 4 regions: Europe, East Asia, New Guinea, and Australia. The populations of these areas, after having left Africa, populated and colonized these regions, once in a mass of land called Sahul, and continued to spread, eventually leading to the Aboriginal Australian population. But why did this population choose Australia? Why not the mountain ranges of India or the bamboo forests of China? Well, the Aboriginal Australians possibly chose the desert setting due to selection. The population has adapted to the desert environment and its extremes of temperature with specific genes only found in this population. How did this relate to different parts of biology? This study has major connections to evolution. The migration and interbreeding between all different populations contributes to the foregoing confusion and debate on the history and origin of Aboriginal Australians and their quite similar neighbors, the Papuans. It is also stated that the Aboriginal Australians might have chosen the desert environment based on selection and have adapted to the harsh environment. It also has connections to genetics. The research process included DNA sequencing with the saliva from Australians and Papuans in order to compare the similarities and differences in their genomes. Along with being the basis for all of the scientific research, genetics was also mentioned in congruence with evolution in the claim that Aboriginal Australians have specific genes that allow them to continue living in the Australian environment.
But why do we care about Aborigines affairs? And why does it matter? It proves a single major scatter. There weren't no multiple dispersals. Only one was universal. Say what? Only one was universal. Say what? Out of Africa dispersals. Let's look at the scientific figure so we can make this picture bigger. If we look at Europe, Asia sisters, they made a relatively recent mixture. So what does this suggest? That they had more time to rest? Yes, because the late migration led to a late colonization of Australia. Word.
Word to your mother.